Everybody, is Slade and Byron from Who the Hell Asked. We got a bevy of topics for you guys today to go over. We got the Netflix has announced their, I guess they're stepping into the world of video game development. They're publishing video games. It doesn't look like they're coming out with a console, so pretty good news, I guess, there for anybody who's excited for that. Don't be too excited though, because they got an EA exec on board.
Yep.
We also have the Persona 5 25th anniversary event coming up. I believe it is on Saturday this weekend.
No, it's just throughout the year.
Oh, just throughout the year. Okay,
Yep,
so they're just announcing multiple things.
Yep.
Because I look at their website, but it's all in Japanese, and I don't understand Japanese.
Yep. We also have Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.
Yeah, a surprisingly interesting and good-looking Smash clone. Well, not Smash clone, Smash-inspired platform fighter. I think that's going to be very fascinating.
And then...
And last, and by certainly not least, possibly the biggest news of the year, Steam has announced its new handheld gaming device, the Steam Deck.
That's right. And so let's get into it. First, Netflix will start publishing video games.
So this is going to be pretty interesting because when I first read this and I kind of like looked into it, I thought they were like, oh, are they going to come out with like their own console or something like that? Or their Netflix library? Turns out I was probably thinking too much into it. It looks like they're just publishing video games overall.
Yep.
They hired a former EA executive, which kind of gives me pause because I don't know. I don't think that's a very good sign overall.
Yeah, newly hired exec Mike Verdu, who most recently worked in publishing relations with Facebook's Oculus VR team, and has worked in the game development and publishing since the early 90s, and his first studio, Legend Entertainment, was eventually acquired by GT Interactive.
Yeah, so that gives me pause overall, but I think because they've been doing television shows and whatnot based off video game series, they're kind of somewhat familiar with, fans of a lot of those series and stuff like that. I know they have a really popular Castlevania anime on there. They had a really good live-action Witcher series on there that a lot of people love.
Yep, animated series of Dota 2, and like a whole lot more.
A whole lot more. So overall, I think this is something we're going to keep our eye on. It's going to be pretty interesting. Very cautious because typically when these companies kind of step into like the gaming sphere overall, these games kind of tend to be either shovelware type games where there isn't exactly a whole lot of content, or they tend to be mostly cinematic in nature.
Mm-hmm.
So we will see, but we'll keep our eye on that.
Don't rush this like Google.
Yeah, another thing, it doesn't look like they're coming out with like a console or a platform, which was my initial reaction. It's like, oh my god, another company's gonna fuck up.
Another. But yeah, like Netflix has been like banging it out with video game like series, which is great because like most video game TV series not great.
My question is are they hiring people to develop video games? Is there any word on the street in regards to like like fucking applications and stuff like that? Like
that will
this is just about publishing video games. Or are they going to be going to like third-party companies and be like, hey, we will throw money at you to make this video game. In exchange, you just put the Netflix brand on it.
Yeah. Or maybe
it looks like they're just publishing.
Yeah. Maybe Netflix will wildly one day put games on Netflix, which would be fucking wild.
That would be the most bizarre thing, especially when Netflix is on every platform but Nintendo's right now.
Yeah, that would be banana.
Streaming video games from every single console. That would be crazy. But I don't think Netflix is quite that ambitious.
Nah, not yet anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, Netflix is dipping its toes in gaming.
Yeah, so we're definitely looking forward to that. So, for the Persona 25th anniversary, now that I'm on the website,
Yeah.
25th anniversary goods for today. It doesn't seem like they've shown off anything other than some keychains and stuff like that. I think their first major announcement, so 2021 9, so I believe that's in September.
Yes, September of 2021, and then there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total announcements. With the last announcement supposedly happening in the autumn, of
Of
next year.
2022.
Yep.
Yeah, so looking at this strongly leads me to believe that these are probably going to be, more ports PC. Maybe we'll see Persona 3 FES on Steam due to the overwhelming success of Persona 4 Golden. We might see some other games also come to Steam. Maybe you see Persona 4 Arena Ultimax also come to PC, to Steam anyway. I think that's a possibility. But I think the one that everyone's talking about is that 2022 autumn one, because there is a large amount of speculation that will be the Persona 6 announcement. Byron, what are your thoughts on that?
I agree with a lot of that speculation. Like, it feels like it's probably been enough time since Persona 5, and maybe Royal took longer than I think it did. But I feel like, at least the announcement, because you know how fucking Atlas has to be. They're announcements of announcements. Like, technically, this is an announcement of announcement.
You're exactly right. I can't even argue that.
It's the Atlas effect. But,
yeah.
But yeah, like, I would be gobsmacked if this final announcement is not Persona 6, probably just on the PlayStation 5. Because that's how Atlas be. But I do think we get other announcements. Maybe we get more game ports. I have a feeling we possibly get some dumb announcements like what Sega probably would have done with Sonic's 25th. That being like some merchandise.
Yeah, I'll say this. It does definitely look like, compared to Sonic, they've laid out a timetable for when they're going to do all their announcements, where the Sonic 20 is like, we'll do it every month. Pandemic happens, fuck that. We'll give you news when we got news.
Yeah, aka just one event.
Yeah.
At least with Atlas, like, we know, like, okay, they'll probably come through, but it'll be like, hey, we have announcement of this announcement. It's coming, but at this date.
So let's poke some fun at some stuff for the Persona announcements, because there's a lot of speculation as to what these announcements could be. I've already, shot a few. I think the Steam library is going to increase in some way, shape, or form.
I would be shocked if it doesn't.
I think if the worst timeline would be if one of these announcements was a Persona 5 Royal anime, considering that the Persona 5 anime was absolute dog shit, garbage. Like, that would be hilarious. Because, honestly, I don't think Atlas or any of the games that they've had animes published on have been any good since the original Persona 4 anime, which was really god tier. So that would be a terrible timeline to live in if they announced another Persona 5 anime. That'd be pretty cringe.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, part of the worst timeline, I can't imagine we would see a Persona 5 fighting game. Simply because the company that made Persona 4 Arena and Arena Ultimax are very busy making other titles. So
yeah, other anime fighters, I presume.
Yes, so that's probably why we're not going to see one of those, but that'd be pretty cool if that was one of the announced games.
All right, so
overall, I'm definitely looking forward to what they have in store for us.
All right, it's time for me to do a little bit of predictions. I will try to predict all 7. So wish me luck. Okay, so what do I think the September announcement is going to be? I think it's going to be an older game port.
Yeah, I think the most popular PC port I think they could put out for the series would be Persona 3 FES
Yes.
edition. I think that would be the one that makes the most sense for me overall, considering I think Persona 3 and Persona 4 are by far and away the most popular two titles. Persona 5 too, but like older titles.
Or, they could throw people off and say, hey, here's Persona 1 and 2. They could.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting. And they are
possible.
Featured on the banner for the 25th anniversary as well.
Yeah, as you could see in our in the thumbnail. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that they could do.
Yeah.
I don't know how much attention a Persona 1 and 2 port would be overall, considering I felt like Persona didn't reach its critically acclaimed popularity until 3 and onwards.
Yeah, but it could get the new people into 1 and potentially.
That's true, if that's something Atlas is looking to do.
Yeah.
But maybe. I don't know. The reason why I feel like they're not doing that is because when you see all these spin-offs and whatnot, it's always Persona 3 and Persona 4. Yeah. You never see 1 and 2. 1 and 2 are basically non-existent.
That's
outside the fact that they make tiny references to them in the spin-offs or in the other Persona games every now and then.
That's fair. So I'm going to guess 2 of these announcements are going to be merchandise-based. I bet one of these announcements is going to be based off of an anime.
Oh, no.
Shot in the Dark, a Persona movie. A Persona anime movie, not an anime series.
I don't know what they would animate. I feel like none of the Persona games would, lend itself well to a movie format, especially if it's only an hour and 30 minutes. I don't feel like that would go very well overall.
Well, Demon Slayer did fucking god tier.
Well, here's the thing. Demon Slayer took an arc of the manga, and then they stuffed that into a movie.
Yeah.
Which is why that worked.
That's fair.
So,
I think we get one spin-off of some type, and then obviously the last announcement is going to be Persona 6, purely for the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Persona 6 announcement, and honestly, I'm with you with porting an older title. I think it's going to be Persona 3 FES to Steam. I feel like we'll probably see Persona Q3.
Oh.
Which is the handheld spin-off series, and that will come to Switch.
Yeah, that'll be the only time Persona comes to Switch.
Yeah, because we've already seen Persona 5 Dancing Star Night, Persona 3 Dancing Moon Night, and then way back then we had the Persona 4 dancing game.
Yeah.
Persona 4 was the one that got all the spin-offs first, and 5 and 3 kind of came after. I think Persona Q3 makes a lot of sense. It's kind of a small, double-A title that they could probably put on the Switch, and a lot of people would really love it.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it even be that hard considering they're already developing Shin Megami Tensei 5 for Switch as well? So the people who would be working on it would already be pretty familiar with the platform overall. It'd be a pretty low-effort title for them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I imagine, and I say this begrudgingly, I think there might be a Persona anime. And if it's like, they did with Persona 4 and then Persona 4 Golden, how they did an anime series for both, I could easily see them doing a Persona 5 Royal anime. And nobody wants to see that shit. Absolutely no one. But then to wrap it all up, I do think we see that Persona 6 announcement.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our second largest topic of the week. If you had asked me before today, I would have said this was the biggest news all week. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.
That's right. This is a platform fighter developed by Ludosity, who are the makers of Slap City, another platform fighter, and Fair Play Labs, who has the unfortunate distinction of having developed Super Seducer 2. If you don't know what that game is, look it up. It's very controversial. It is being published by Game Mill Entertainment, who do not have a great track record. But I'll let you take it from here, Slade.
To be fair, Ludosity, as the developers of Slap City, is what has me optimistic for this title. Yeah. Primarily because Slap City was actually really good.
Yeah, I heard it was pretty good.
Yeah, I think the one thing that hurts a lot of these platform fighters is they lack recognizable characters that get people really, excited for playing them and fighting with them and whatnot.
Well,
I feel like Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl is going to be the first Smash-inspired game to be successful, in my opinion. And a lot of the footage they showed off looked kind of pretty raw. Like, Patrick did, like, a command grab in the air when the guy was still standing on the ground. That still grabbed him from, like, 10 feet below him. So, obviously, there's a lot of work to be done.
That seems ridiculous.
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. Like, holy shit.
But, yeah.
Overall, there's a lot of things that have not just, casual fans really interested in it, but also competitive players of Smash and Smash-based games interested as well. Yeah. For example, there is a lot of statements that there is a lot of the Slap City mechanics placed into the game, which, spoilers, were melee-based mechanics, in terms of wave dashing, wave landing, shield dropping, etc. So there's going to be a pretty high skill ceiling, or skill floor overall, that's going to entice these players to really practice and get really good at this game. And as I said, it seems like the stage design appears to be really inducive to like competitive play overall. I didn't really see any like jank hazards or anything like that.
There were some very Smash Bros like stage designs. I thought I saw a Battlefield clone. I swear there was a Battlefield clone. But
I think I saw which one you're talking about. It had the triplat layout. I think it was in space. It must have been like one of Invader Zim stage. I haven't like gone through the trailer and like hardcore analyzed it or anything. Mm-hmm. But
you did say earlier. But you did say earlier iconic characters, and so far here are the characters who have been shown in the trailer. We have Michelangelo and Leonardo from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Nigel Thornberry from the Wild Thornberry, fucking Powder Toast Man from Ren and Stimpy. That is as obscure as you could get with Nickelodeon.
Oh, yeah.
SpongeBob, Sandy, and Patrick from the SpongeBob series. Oblina from Real Monsters. Another 90s nostalgia deep cut.
A lot of people are very excited to see her, because it kind of felt like Nickelodeon left that series behind. So.
Yeah. Lucy and Lincoln Loud from The Loud House. Helga from Hey Arnold. Fucking Reptar from Rugrats.
Yeah, that Reptar is actually pretty interesting because I think this probably means we won't be seeing the babies,
which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because I don't think anyone's like. Here's the thing: like, you can play babies in like kart racers and stuff like that.
But it's kart.
I know Nickelodeon has a kart racer where the babies are playable, and so is Reptar, for that matter.
Yeah.
But like, when it comes to like fighting and whatnot, nobody wants to see fucking Nigel Thornberry square up on fucking Tommy and just kick him. Nobody wants to see that.
You don't want to see like fucking Powder Toast Man square up with Dill Pickle.
Yeah, like Dill Pickle, just fucking Shoryuken him or something.
God. We have Zim from Invader Zim and Danny Phantom from the Danny Phantom series. Those are the characters confirmed. There will apparently also be 20 stages, some single player and multiplayer modes, both local and online. And speaking of online,
they have also confirmed that every version outside of the Switch version of the game will have rollback netcode. That is correct. This will be the platform fighter with the best netcode out of all of them. Yeah. Not the fucking iconic multi-billion-dollar company game made by Nintendo, but this fucking offshoot Nickelodeon game is going to have rollback.
When I saw that this game was going to have rollback netcode, first I belly laughed at the thought of this game having netcode Smash does. But second, it did make me think, why do like these smaller fighting games have rollback netcode and not the big boys?
Because number one, the big boys don't feel the need to include it in order to sell their game, because the games sell anyway.
Yeah.
And because it's more expensive to do so, so they're just, cutting costs and trying to make as much money as possible. And two, because these smaller devs understand that they need to do things like this in order to get people interested in their games.
Yeah.
Otherwise, people aren't going to buy their games at the online shit.
Like,
and a lot of people point to things like rollback netcode, like, oh, competitive players are the only ones who care about it. But that's not true. Even casual players take notice when a game's online does not feel fun to play.
Yeah, like,
overall.
I'm gonna give a non-fighting game example. Fall Guys. Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. That has rollback neck. And that's very fun to play online. Even casually.
So, overall, this appears to be incredibly exciting overall. Like, I think if you had told me if Nickelodeon was going to release a platform fighter that's kind of loosely based off of Smash, I'd be like, huh, that's just going to be some shovelware trash that's, like, not really worth playing.
Yeah.
And to be fair, there are some things, judging off the original trailer, that they clearly need to work on. As I said, that fucking, as soon as I saw Patrick command that grab that guy from like 20 feet down, I'm like, yeah, that needs to get worked.
Yeah, you're
but overall, I think the game has a lot of potential, and I believe in the work that Ludosity does overall.
Yeah. We no clue how Fair Play Labs is as a fighting game dev, but like it looks solid enough. We'll have to see come I believe this releases in September of 2021. So it's coming. It's coming real hot and real soon. And also enjoyed this screenshot of Patrick about to belly flop onto a terrified powdered toast man.
I'm like, no, don't do it.
Don't do it. Okay, but you mentioned this earlier, Slade. This was the biggest piece of gaming news. But Valve had to say to Ludosity, Fair Play Labs, and Nickelodeon, hold my beer, because we have the Steam Deck.
That's right. And honestly, Nickelodeon isn't the only company that they told to hold their beer. They also told Nintendo with their Switch OLED, hold my beer. This is how we're going to do this handheld device correctly. Because holy fucking shit.
Yeah, so
this is huge.
So the Steam Deck is a portable is a handheld PC device made by Valve, the proprietors behind the largest PC gaming storefront, Steam. So this is set to have a AMD Zen 2 APU, 4 cores, 8 threads, running between 2.4 and 3.5 gigahertz, and it's got 8 RDNA 2 compute units. So it's got an AMD APU. It is very similar to the Xbox Series S in power. It's got 16 gigs of DDR5 memory, and it's got some storage, and we'll talk about the storage later when we also talk about the price.
Yeah, so let's talk about the Steam Deck and its power overall, as well as, the other things like battery life, because this is very important. Yeah. So, obviously, for people following the situation, the Steam Deck isn't capable of playing games at 4K. That's completely understandable. I don't think portable 4K is a thing that's, we're not at that point yet. In our life, I don't think we'll be at that point for at least another, 4 or 5 years, maybe longer. So, really understandable, right? But what you're getting is you're getting a device that's going to play pretty much any 1080p game possible at 60 FPS consistently. And you're also talking about a device that can get up to 8 hours of battery life overall.
Yeah, the display is 1280 by 800, so it is not a 16 by 9 aspect ratio. It is a 16 by 10 aspect ratio. It is 7 inches, so it is the same. So it is the same display size diagonally as the Nintendo Switch OLED model, and it is touch enabled, also like the Nintendo Switch OLED.
That is correct. Some other things, you could also upload the Windows OS to it. So this isn't only limited to the Steam library.
Yeah.
This also means you're going to be able to access things like the Epic Game Store, Xbox Game Pass,
Yeah.
and a bunch of other things. Like this, hear me out on that last one. You're going to be able to access Xbox Game Pass on a portable device that you could carry with you on the go.
Yeah, because it has a micro SD card slot.
Yes, so that to me is absolutely amazing because even if you were to buy this thing only for your Steam library, that's already incredible enough.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're also getting access to pretty much, anything you could play on a PC, so long as it's not one of those games that is like so fucking like high resolution and, intensive that like a handheld device can't really handle it. But you're talking about a device that's at bare minimum 3 times stronger than the Nintendo Switch, at minimum.
Yeah.
It has 3 times more RAM. It probably has at least 10 times the processing power of the Nintendo Switch itself.
Mm-hmm.
And you get more hours of battery life. You get 8 hours of battery life.
Well, that is for lighter use cases, though.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's probably the average is going to be somewhere between that 4 to 5.
Yeah, so it's going to be close to probably what the Switch OLED battery life will be.
And for a lot of people who are skeptical, like, oh, Nintendo already controls this market or whatever, I implore you to pull up Steam and go look up the gaming library in Steam. Go look up all the games you can get on Steam. It absolutely shit stomps and dominates all the current gen consoles, all the previous gen consoles, and the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. So
by a lot.
Yeah, so it does have a single USB-C jack, which can be used for charging peripherals or with the appropriate cable. You can throw it onto the big screen. Any USB-C hub can be used to expand your options. Or you can get the official dock when it releases, which includes probably the same number of ports as the Switch dock. So let's talk about pricing.
Yeah, this is the real killer for me. So the cheapest model is the 64 gigabyte model. It's for $399.99 in US dollars. That is very affordable.
Yep.
That is extremely affordable. I think they have a 128 gigabyte model that's at what, $449.99?
Yep.
And
I think so, actually. Oh, okay,
that?
So there are 3 different models of the Steam.
Oh, it's 256. I was wrong. That's $529.
Okay. Yeah.
And then the 512, which is $649. So
yeah. So So the base, as I heard a friend of mine in a Discord call refer to this as the basic bitch model. You get 64 gigs. It is $50 more than the Switch OLED model. So that
you're talking about literally the exact same amount of internal storage, a device that is at minimum, and we're saying at minimum 3 times more powerful than the Nintendo Switch. Mm-hmm. And you're also talking about a device that already has a library that's well over 30 times the size that Nintendo has. Yeah. Not to mention, if you have a gaming PC, your saves will be able to... Speaking, this device is absolutely huge for the handheld market. Mm-hmm. This might be the most impressive handheld, gaming device ever released by a country mile. It's not even close.
Well, I am here, I guess, as I tend to be. I have to be Mr. Real. So, while this is a great product on paper, this is a great product. Valve, though, has a history of absolutely flopping with hardware. They have a fucking history. If you all remember the Steam machines from back in the day, those flopped. If you remember the Steam Link, great product, but that flopped until it went on fire sale. If you remember the Steam controller, that also flopped until it went on fire sale, even though it is a good product. The only hardware that Valve has made that has been relatively successful is their VR stuff. Now, could this change things? Potentially.
Absolutely.
We won't know until December of this year. But history shows that Valve making hardware is like me eating white chocolate. It doesn't work. It does not work.
I will say that I
99% of the
do
time.
agree with Valve's premise in regard or history in regards to how they've released hardware and products and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I feel like this has at least 1,000 times more potential than any other pieces of hardware they've released in the past.
It
I
has
don't think that's arguable.
it has potential. Will Valve be able to capitalize on that potential?
I think for any PC gamer, maybe you got a bit older, you have kids now or something like that, or maybe you don't have the time or you have to travel a lot. This is going to be an absolutely A+ wonderful device. I think the largest reason why the Switch is successful is not because it is, the latest, Nintendo console or whatever, but because you are getting AAA gaming experiences on the go.
Yeah.
And when you look at the Steam Deck, you're basically amplifying that by 1,000-fold.
Also, can I rant really quick about this fucking name? So Elgato,
let's talk about the name.
Elgato, a company that does like streaming tech, has a product called the Stream Deck, and I was trying to search for the Steam Deck, and Google kept fucking telling me, "Oh, are you searching for the Stream Deck?" And I'm like, "No, I'm searching for the newly announced Steam Deck." Okay, but rant over on that. But yeah, it's got back bumpers. The analog sticks hopefully won't drift in like 4 months like fucking Joy-Cons. I could see this being like, for certain types of hands, uncomfortable to hold, but that obviously will be like to be seen when it becomes available in people's hands. But yeah, this could potentially do great, or it could continue Valve's history of absolutely fish flopping like it's a fucking magic carp with actual physical products. But we'll see. Time will tell.
Also, there's a couple of other things that are leaving me pretty optimistic. For one, there is controller support, so you'll be able to plug in, your Xbox controllers, your PS4 controllers, or
either
even
plug it
the
in.
Steam controllers if you happen to have one.
Yeah, you can plug it in via either like using a dongle via the USB-C port or Bluetooth.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Other things is you can also hook this up to a monitor.
Yep.
So it's not like it's a purely portable. It is a purely portable device, but you could kind of like replicate what the Switch is able to do and make it a console. Because what this device really is, it's just a middle to low end gaming PC, but it's a handheld device. That's essentially what it is.
I am going to be very interested to see how this does in this current market, considering I think this is coming out 2 months after the Switch OLED.
Yes. So I think this is really fascinating. I think Nintendo has to be very worried if this device takes off, because the number one selling point of this device to me, it's not even the fact that it's 3 times more powerful than the Switch or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it already has access to that absolutely massive Steam library. That Steam library on the go is insane. It's absolutely huge. I think, sure, you could buy a gaming laptop or something like that, but having it in a small handheld device like this, to me, is absolutely massive. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see when this thing comes out. As long as there isn't any flaws with it that are absolutely deal breaking.
Mm-hmm. And I think the one thing Valve needs to do really well, which they did not really do that well with their other physical products, sans their VR stuff, market this well. Don't have consumer confusion like you did during the launch of the PS4 and the Xbox One X with the Steam machines back then. market it well. Make sure consumers aren't confused about this product.
Yeah, honestly speaking, that's the only thing that has me concerned as well, is if they don't market this thing and they just kind of like try to push it to like the hyper, the people who already have gaming PCs and whatnot like that, the hardcore gaming audience,
Yeah.
then this thing's not going to take off. They need to reach out to people and whatnot and be like, hey, this device is basically a Switch with a 1,000 times larger gaming library, and it's 3 times more powerful, and it has a better battery life.
Yeah. One last comment. The D-pad placement and just the D-pad looks fucking awful. That's all I'm going to say.
Looking at this controller overall, those are like the motion touchpads, I think, that replicate like mouse movements or something like that.
Yeah, and this also has gyro for those who love gyro. But that D-pad,
like that D-pad placement.
Yeah,
some of the buttons
D-pad
are all like the. I think that's a start button, the select button towards the very top.
Yeah, but like the one thing that's sticking out, that fucking D-pad placement is so bad.
Yeah, definitely the worst offender overall. But
we are gonna keep our eyes on this product for sure throughout its release cycle, and we will definitely, hopefully, continue to cover this on the show if it doesn't crash and fucking.
I know I will be watching this product with absolutely great interest because I am infinitely fascinated by the idea of a more powerful handheld. Like Byron could say, and I'm sure you guys have seen some of our previous episodes, I've been talking about the idea of a Switch Pro for quite a while. And
Slade,
ladies and gentlemen, this is a Switch Pro.
Wrong company. Wrong company. Also, I'm gonna take a dig at you really quick. This came out before the KFC console.
It did, and I'm so disappointed because like I don't even want a KFC console to like play it or anything like that. I just want to own one, man.
Yeah, for the memes. All right, but yeah, that has been another episode of Who the Hell Asked. This has been Byron, your favorite duo, Byron and
Slade.
And we will catch you all later. Hope you all have a good day, good night, and goodbye.
All right, that's it, everyone. We will see you next time.